on your line. Your day's just begun. The world of American angler, on lakes and on streams. Now you're living the good life. Catch the one of your dreams.
Hi, I'm Pat Traynor, and welcome to the American Angler. Today we're coming to you from just west of Phoenix, Arizona on Alamo Lake. We got some super fishing for you today, but boy, more than super, we got just a great guest for you. This guy has won everything there is to win in fishing just about. He's been the Bassmaster Classic champ. He's won 2 Angler of the Year awards. Please let me introduce you to a good friend of mine from Gravois Mill, Missouri, Guido Hibdon. Guido,
Pat.
It's great to have you on the show.
Well, that's quite an introduction, but you know, we're just buddies. We're just going to have a great time today.
Boy, I hope so. First of all, let me tell the viewers that this is the first time that Guido has ever seen Alamo Lake, but we did discuss on the way down this morning a little bit as to what these fish are doing. We're here in late May. Some of the fish are still spawning, but the bulk of the spawn is over with. There's a lot of fry in the water. Some of the females are protecting the fry, and kind of tell the people what we might expect to be doing out there this morning, Guido.
Well, I think first off, we're going to try a little bit of topwater. You know, I think the topwater bite early in the morning will be pretty good, or at least we'll try it for a while, and then we'll kind of go from that into flipping and throwing the G4 a little bit. You know, there's enough bushes. I've seen enough bushes up and down here and there that I think we can make them bite the Guido bug pretty good. The tube bait, I'm sure after the sun gets up pretty good, we can get on the outside around some of these big trees or along the out edge of some of this stuff, and we can probably catch a few fish. If there's as many in here as you say they are, I know we're going to catch a few.
This place is loaded with fish.
Well,
I'll guarantee you that. We ought to catch a lot of fish today. So why don't you just sit back and draw up your favorite stool, and we'll be right back with you in about a minute. Guido, I know what you're doing with that bait and how you're trying to work it, but why don't you explain to the viewers just exactly what you're trying to accomplish with it?
Well, basically what I'm trying to do with it, you know, is just work the thing real easy. You know, this water is so quiet right now. I think if you put too much into it and you make it pop too hard, you probably spook more fish than you would actually catch, is the reason I'm trying to work it so easy and just barely make it pop. Move it real slow. Now if you add a little bit of chop on the water, a little bit of a ripple, then you can speed it up, you know, make more noise out of it. But whenever it's quiet like this, you want it to just imitate a shad, is what it amounts to. On Bull Shoals the other day, I was throwing one of these things in that last tournament, and you had to pop it 2 or 3 times and then just stop it all together and let it sit there till that ring got way away from it. And about right there where that ring's away from it now, it's one of them big Kentuckys would come out there and bust it.
Just eat it up.
Now, I mean, it could not be a moving at all.
Well, don't you think not only speed, but the rhythm you put in just about any bait that you fish has a lot to do with your success?
You know it does. You know, that's with a topwater bait, spinner bait, or anything else. You know, once you kind of get in that groove, and you know, it takes, what, 2 or 3 fish maybe to really kind of get into the groove of how they really want it. And then you can just kind of duplicate it. Your bite slows down a little bit, you know, you might have to change up a little bit.
Do you find on some days it's easier to accomplish that rhythm with a bait than it is on others? I know there's been times that I've been out, and regardless of how hard you try to duplicate what you've done the day before, you just can't make it work that way for you.
No, every day is a little different. You know, it seemed like, you know, that's kind of what sorts fishermen out. You know, you have to be willing to take that chance and change a little bit. You can't go out. I hear so many people say that, you know, they caught fish off you know, this bank back in May, and they went back in September, and they couldn't understand why the fish, well, it's the same way with a bait. You know, you don't catch fish on any particular bait or any particular bank day after day you know, month after month. You have to be able to be willing to take that change. You know, that's kind of what sorts out your real good fishermen from others, those that are willing to gamble and change. Take that chance. You know, that's what makes it interesting for me, is to be able to kind of have nerve enough to make that change. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, you know.
All right.
Swallowed that little Michael now.
He meant business on that one,
Yes,
didn't
he
he?
did.
He said, I want some of that.
Boy, them little hooks are so sharp. I'm about as scared of him as he is. Fish are healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he'd make you feel good in most places, but here on Alamo, he just another fish.
You just got to put him right back in the old lake he come out of.
You grow up, boy, and I'll be back one of these days.
Get him up, Hibdon.
Boy,
All right, hey, that's a
little
nice fish.
I believe that rascal would even keep
Why?
in Missouri. Look at that.
That's a bona fide keeper.
That's about all I catch. Boy, them hooks. Traynor, I might have to let you take him off.
I might get you a pair of pliers. Them little hooks are really sharp.
Little Michael, that just
There you go.
sure looks good when it's this quiet.
I hate to see you work on me with my own bait now.
Well, I know it,
But that is a nice fish.
pretty fish are good and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He is healthy.
Let him go back in and do his thing.
Be back one of these days, big boy, when you weigh 6 pounds. Good looking spot to get bit right there.
Yeah, it is. And there he is right there. All right.
You caught one on a Guido bug and me standing here telling you.
Yeah, I
to throw
did. I
it.
told you I was going to tie it on. Not real big, but that's a bass. Look at the tail on this fish.
Been on the bed.
He has been a nesting heavy. Boy, I had him hooked, I guarantee you that.
Maybe I should put on one of my Guido bugs, you reckon?
Now, why don't you just go right ahead
Let me
with what
have
you're
your
doing.
rod and you can use this one for a while. How about
You just
that?
go right ahead with what you're doing. I like this bait.
Can't believe.
I thought last night when I was looking at those, that thing would probably work up here.
Need to be a change in colors. And you put on a different color and I'll pitch that one. And
You know, I don't get the opportunity to catch fish behind you very often anymore. I kind of enjoyed that. If I never catch another.
probably a bunch of them in there.
I knew it.
I'll be darned. This guy is unconscious now.
How about that?
What are you doing to me,
Huh?
Traynor, on my own bait now?
I'm liking this.
Enough's enough. I'm going to have to get down and do something about this now.
Boy, Guido, I never.
Well, let me hold your rod and take your fish off of there, and I'll kind of get you all fixed up there.
I only brought 2 of these baits in.
All right. Yeah, well, we'll have some air freighted in.
And why can't you ever get them hooked like this in a tournament? That's a
Nice
nice,
fish.
frisky little old fish. Go back down there and make them babies.
You know, you make me look bad, bud. Huh?
No. I'd never do that.
Why would I put on a brown You know, Jim Jarrett talked me into doing this.
I'm sure glad he talked to you. I'm sure glad he talked to you. I'm sure they'll bite it. You just need to keep throwing it.
You bet.
There's no doubt in my mind they'll just eat that thing up.
Kind of watch your technique here. be it whatever it is.
Such as it is? Well, you just pull it out of one bush and put it in another one.
You know, flipping 12-pound line and that stuff like there, you live a little dangerously.
You think that might get me hurt?
I believe a 6-pounder could really get a guy in a lot of trouble.
Well, they have absolutely destroyed my little bug.
I hate to hear that.
Let me just do that one more time, and then we'll know that they'll bite this color. But it's going to take at least one more bite, like that one right there that I just broke off.
Told you, 12-pound line. And did I not tell you?
Oh, he was there.
Yeah. Time out,
Now
guys.
you got me at a real disadvantage.
Yeah. Not really. I'm standing here throwing this goofy brown jig with a purple frog junk on.
Yeah, but Jared knows what he's talking about.
You
Now I'm
bet.
telling you, they'll bite that thing.
Enough.
Guido, how many years ago did you make the first Guido bug?
It had to be in 1979. That was the first year that BASS come to Lake of the Ozarks, and Dion made it as a school project, and in school is how it all come about.
I remember that tournament. I think I fished that tournament.
We kept it pretty quiet, but
You won that tournament out of the upper end of the lake, didn't you? Out of the Gravois Arm, if I remember right.
yeah.
Well, I'll get mine up here. We'll let the camera get a real good shot of this bug. And why don't you tell the folks just how you came up with the idea for that thing?
Well, Dion is actually, my son is actually the one who come up with the idea. And the first ones originated, we had strung, it was basically the same crawfish, and he took a live crawfish and put it in plaster of Paris. This was a school project. All the kids were given something to make out of plaster of Paris, is what it amounted to. So he takes a crawfish and puts it in plaster of Paris, a deceased crawfish, I might say, and puts it in plaster of Paris and paints the mold with epoxy paint. And that's how the first ones were made. We didn't have the side legs on them then. What we done then was we run live rubber through the legs to make the legs and the feelers. Well, now we inject them, and you know, it's basically the same crawfish, but that's how it all come about. And we won the first BASS on Lake of the Ozarks with it, and we didn't let anybody know anything about it. We just kept it quiet and didn't say much. And then they come back the second year, and I was fortunate enough to win it again. And then the word kind of started getting out on it, and you know, we were still hand making them then.
You know, there's an awful good looking spot. I just put that bait in, Hibdon, and it just looks so good. There he is. Hey, this is not a bad little fish, Hibdon.
Well, that's a nice fish. I'm telling you, boy. You're all right.
That'll work.
I'm telling you. A one-legged Guido bug. Now, I don't know whether we can make them
That
things
is
out of
one
there or
pretty
not.
healthy little
It
fish.
really is.
That's about a
Salts.
3-pounder, isn't it?
Salt cedar bass.
Couple.
Little one.
All right.
Just passel them devils in there now. Now see, that didn't hit a black and blue bug. What are you talking
Well,
about? I ain't never seen a bite
I
of
hadn't been
water
able to
in the
get him to
world.
bite it.
Darn.
About 3 or 4 weeks ago when I was up here, I was getting a lot of those short hits. Do the same thing. You jerk him. You got him that time.
You know, good enough.
You got the baby out of there.
A lot of days when I'd like to have one that size.
The lake is absolutely full of that size fish.
I can see why as much bait fish as there is in there.
That green bush right there is going to be it.
There he is.
Pretty nice little fish, Guido.
Yeah. If it's green and in the water, there's one of them rascals in it.
Wonder if there's another one in there.
God, dogs, there he was, and he was swimming off with it.
Why'd you let him do that?
I don't know.
We need to.
No, yeah.
Like that one today.
There's one.
No more than got the words out of my mouth.
Well, hold still. They're healthy, I'll say that for them.
We must have a whole boarding house full of them right here.
I'm telling you.
These fish sitting out here suspended, aren't they?
There he is.
Here comes a G2 fish.
Yeah. That's a G4.
That's a nice little old fish. All right.
Well. Pretty little fish. Healthy. Now, Traynor, I'll give you the best tree. You don't really have an excuse.
I know, I'm trying to get them.
There he is. I guess maybe they will bite a shad. That little rascal here.
That's a dandy fish.
That little chunk.
Uh-oh.
You didn't get
I threw that in an awful dangerous spot.
Look how fat and chunky.
Ugh. Healthy, healthy.
He got something in him.
He's been eating, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he got a big old fish in him.
What are you throwing, about an 1/8 ounce?
Yep. A little better fish.
Well, you got him just huddled up over here, haven't you? That's
just mean.
He's mean.
He's just mean.
Well, Guido, we've had a lot of fun today. We've caught a lot of fish. And why don't you take a moment and go over with folks what we've done and what baits we've used and how we went about catching all these fish.
All right. Basically, all that we've done today, we've used the Guido bug a little bit, and we've used the G4, and we even used the weenie worm out here that they, has been so famous out here. I'd never used it before, but it caught a lot of fish today. But the G4, we've fished a lot of big trees out here in the lake, and the G4 that I was throwing was no more than that one right there. And there's a number of different ways to rig it, but I still rig it with the Grigsby hook and a little 1/8 ounce slip sinker is all I was doing. I peg it, just put a toothpick in it and then slide it down right against it. As far as the Guido bug, this is basically all we were doing. We were Texas rigging it. I used a black and blue one with the jig, and that's about all we were doing. This little lake is so full of fish that you can catch fish on about anything that you want to put out there.
Most of the flipping bites that we got, it seemed like we got them early this morning, and normally, as a rule, you can get a pretty good flipping bite in the afternoon, but those fish seemed to get off of that bug this afternoon, and we had most of our action on the tube bait.
Yeah.
Can you relate to that?
Well, I think mainly, we started out first off this morning throwing a topwater bait a little bit, and the topwater didn't really catch on, as good as I thought it probably should have this morning. It's quiet, and, it was good and dark and everything, but it didn't really work all that well, so we started flipping. And I think more than anything, those fish have got these shad and fry herded right into this brush that's around the bank like you see here. And that's probably the reason that we done better flipping in there, because that's basically the only thing that you could actually get in there and get them out with. We caught a few fish on the spinnerbait too, but I mean, those fish were just the fish that were loose to the cover. you know. And
Well, you know, you mentioned the fry in the shed, and you're right, because in the areas that we caught fish this afternoon, whether it be flipping or on the Guido bug, we either had shad that we were looking at constantly, or we had the fry. And we got on the north side of the lake this afternoon in an area that we'd caught fish early this morning. We saw the fry and we saw the shad, but this afternoon they were gone.
Yeah.
And consequently, we weren't catching any fish.
no, and I think, you know, in this situation, I think you have to have the bait fish to really be able to catch a lot of them.
Well, Guido, I want you to know one thing. We certainly appreciate having you on this show, and we wish you all the best in this year's Classic. And more than that, we'll all be pulling for you to become the first man to ever win 3 BASS Anglers of the Year awards in a row.
Well,
Thanks a million.
it's been a great time. It really has. I've enjoyed it, and you all have a great lake out here. It really has.
And we'll look forward to seeing you next week on our next episode of The American Angler.